The Kosi Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi. You are not going to believe it. We have the full list of Mikel Arteta's priorities at center forward, and we are going to be discussing them one by one. Some names here I don't like, some names I really do like. And of course, the whole summer is going to be about Arsenal signing a new forward, a new center forward, and a couple of other additions to the squad. We know at the moment that Arsenal would love to get in a striker, a winger, and possibly more than one striker or possibly more than one winger. We are also told that Arsenal are looking at a versatile center forward, a versatile forward. After signing a striker and a winger, Arsenal might do with a player that can play in, across the forward line, a bit like Leandro Trossard. So it's a very big summer. It's a very big transfer window coming up, especially with Arsenal being criticized by each and every pundit on this world for not getting a striker when they had chance to, and now they're suffering the consequences. Mikel Arteta being disappointed. He's already filed in his list of strikers that he would love Arsenal to sign this summer, and it doesn't get better than this. So let's get into it. Who does Mikel Arteta want? What are his options? Number one, Hugo Ekitike. Now, Hugo Ekitike is a name that has been around the Arsenal radar for quite some time. From his time at PSG, I think before going to PSG, was he... did he come from German? Possibly to go to PSG and then from PSG now to Frankfurt. I think Hugo Ekitike is a talent, but Hugo Ekitike would not be Arsenal's first choice striker. If we were to sign Hugo Ekitike, it would be this kind of signing where you bring in a player like Hugo to be your backup striker. And I like it. I've always said, go and get two strikers. It's going to pay off. Go and get Šeško and then go and get, a backup striker. Go and get Isak and go and get a backup striker. So with Hugo Ekitike, what I can see, he's a player that has been at PSG and then downgraded a little bit to Frankfurt. If you gave him the chance to rise again and prove his worth at a club in the UEFA Champions League like Arsenal, he is not going to think twice. So Hugo Ekitike, wanted by Arsenal. If this is like the backup striker, I don't have a problem with that. This would be like a £25 million deal or a £30 million deal on top of a £70 million deal for Šeško or a £70 million deal for a player like Viktor Gyökeres. I wouldn't have a problem with that. So Hugo Ekitike, second option, that is very good scouting by Arsenal. The other player that I think Arsenal want to bring in as a second option, again, or as a backup, is Bryan Mbeumo. Now, with Fabrizio Romano confirming that Arsenal are very big admirers and Mikel Arteta is obsessed with Bryan Mbeumo, why? I do not have an idea, but I can say what Fabrizio said, that Arsenal really big admirers of Bryan Mbeumo, and they are actually very serious about making that deal. They are very serious about signing Bryan Mbeumo in the summer. Now, obviously, we looked at that position in January. Arsenal wanted to see if they could throw some kind of stone in the bush and hear the response. And the response was from Brentford, do not dare. And we're like, all right. But Mbeumo is an interesting player. First and foremost, he is in his prime and he is still young. Like when you look at the guy, you might think he's like 95 years old. But in truth, Mbeumo is still like 25, 26, right? A player like Mbeumo, who has not played in the UEFA Champions League, would be a very good squad player. And what I like about Bryan Mbeumo is this. He is a striker that can play on the flanks, and he is a striker that can score goals. We have seen him just raise his level, raise his standards. After Brentford losing Ivan Toney, I think they were panicking. They were asking themselves, what are we going to do? And then Johan Wissam and Bryan Mbeumo said, search no more, we are your answer. So if Arsenal signed Mbeumo, I think he wouldn't start every game. I think the starting line would be Saka, Williams, and then maybe Šeško or maybe Isak, depending on who you get. But what you like about Mbeumo and why Mbeumo is such a very good signing is Mbeumo would allow you to have an active striker who's proven in the Premier League, who is very good. So if your main striker doesn't work out, if he flops the way Darwin Núñez flopped at Liverpool, you'd have another option ready to put on his boots and go. So Mbeumo, for me, 100%. The problem with Mbeumo's deal is that you're getting him from a Premier League team and he's been on fire this season. They might ask for more than 50 million. And I don't take Mbeumo as our main striker. I would only take him as a backup option to Saka and the striking option, right? And the striker would sign. So if we could get the deal if we get to do the deal for 40 million, I think that's a good deal. But anything above that, Arsenal must have to first sign the priorities and then see if we are left with 40 and above million to get the Mbeumo deal done. But it's also on the list. Number 3, Mario Retegui at Atalanta. Now, Mario Retegui is one of the few, I would say, alive Italian strikers. Like, Italy has dead strikers. If you just wanted to go to a country where their strikers are dead, that's Italy. But it's one of the few that are actually catching everybody's eyes. Is one of the few that are managing to create the difference. And he is such a wonderful, wonderful talent. But with Mario Retegui, I'm going to say 2 things. 1, no. And 2, no thank you. The reason as to why I'm going to say no thank you to Mario Retegui is that I kind of feel like he's more like a Silo Immobile. I don't know. You remember Silo Immobile or Immobile? I don't know how you guys pronounce the name. This guy, Silo Immobile, is in the Italian Serie A. Banks in a couple of goals. I think that was with the Lazio. I think Lazio. And then he doesn't, like, everybody wants to sign him. He goes to Borussia Dortmund, he flops, he goes back home to Italy and becomes a god. Like, one of the greatest of time. I don't mean to insult Silo Immobile. I like the guy. I think Retegui is surviving and thriving under the conditions that he is at home in Italy. I don't trust his game. Honestly, that's what I want to say. I don't trust Mario Retegui's game. Now, putting all my biases aside, again, I would take him as a second option, as a backup option. But when I look at his work at Atalanta would look at him as a player they would love to get some good money out of. So possibly 65 plus million. And I don't think you sign a player for 65 plus million just for them to sit on the bench and wait for Šeško to come off the pitch or Šeško to have a bad game. So Mario Retegui, I don't know how high he is on the Arsenal list, but please, no. And secondly, no, thank you. Option number 4, and this is where things get very, very interesting, Joao Pedro. Now, you can see the smile, right? You can see the smile. I like Joao Pedro. And I think that with all this, transfer frenzy going on at Brighton, they might lose a player like Joao Pedro. Now, we have been told that Joao Pedro is a top-class, world-class striker valued at 100 million by Brighton. Come off it. Come on, guys. 100 million for Joao Pedro. Am I signing Kylian Mbappe? But I like him. And would I pay 100 million for Joao Pedro? I don't want to commit to that position yet because you guys will catch me in the summer and I have nothing to say, right? By the way, subscribe to my personal channel, the Kosi Arsenal. You will get very, very interesting insights there where I literally just say things in my mind. And I think today we should do a video on Joao Pedro, shouldn't we? Go to the Kosi Arsenal channel today at exactly 3 p.m. We are dropping a video on Joao Pedro and why Arsenal would benefit from Joao Pedro and why it's a doable deal than Isak. So, like I said, Joao Pedro is a doable deal, right? Very doable, very good player, talent, class. And listen, like there were times way back, right, when we used to watch football and you could feel it in your veins that this player was going to become world class, right? I'll give you an example. When I saw Nani at Manchester United, like the earlier days of Nani, I knew Nani was going to be big trouble. When you saw Walcott, you knew that Walcott was going to be big trouble for teams. When you saw players like, Eduardo, before getting that injury, Vasilk Abu Diabe, there was this feeling we always had about footballers that, this guy is going to be a superstar. And at times it happened, at times it didn't. I have that feeling about Joao Pedro, but this time it's a little bit stronger, thicker, and legit. He is good, guys. He is good. Like Joao Pedro qualifies to be Arsenal's number 9, and he qualifies to be any club's number 9 apart from Manchester City in the Premier League and maybe Manchester City. For me, Joao Pedro gets into many teams around the world. So I'll take him. Would I pay 100? Maybe not. Would I pay close to 100? Maybe yes, right? But Joao Pedro is a name that Arsenal need to consider, and I'm glad that he's already on the list of strikers that we want to sign. Yes, I'll take him as our number 1 option. Yes, I'll take him as the main striker. Yes, I'll take him even if we don't get any other striker coming in. So, Joao Pedro is definitely not high up the list. Lautaro Martinez, though, could be. Now, the Lautaro Martinez links are quite interesting because, again, there are times when you feel like a footballer has been at a club for a long time and anything could happen. And I think that's what I want to say with Lautaro Martinez. He's been at Inter Milan, won things with them. If they win again this season, they did win last season. If they win again this season, I'm thinking that they will lose some of their most important players as one way to make money, but also I think players will do what we usually see with successful players. Look for a new challenge. And I think Lautaro Martinez will want to look for a new challenge. Now, why I think Arsenal really need to look into this position and why I'm glad that he's on our list is because there are not many better, honestly. Like, I have just hyped up Joao Pedro, but Lautaro Martinez is class. Like, Lautaro Martinez is that caliber of strikers that screams class. We're talking Aguero class. We're talking Suarez class. We are talking Van Nistelrooy class. We are talking Van Persie class. We're talking that kind of class. Like, you get him, and Arsenal are lining up with Raya, Saliba, Rice, and Lautaro Martinez. And we are all like, what? That is Arsenal these days? Like, compare what I've just said to around 5 years ago, where Arsenal were lining up with David Luiz, Konstantinos Mastafalas, Guendouzi, and Lacazette. There is, you can feel the difference in class and the difference in quality. So Lautaro Martinez, is the deal doable? I think if they win the Scudetto this year, he will want a new challenge. Šeško, there's nothing we don't know about Šeško and Arsenal. Mikel Arteta is pushing, Šeško is pushing, and Leipzig are willing to sell. I think with Šeško, Arsenal are looking at him like, if we don't get the guy we want, we are going for Šeško. And I won't be surprised if Šeško is like option number 3 on our list rather than option number 2. And to complete the list is Isak. And I think Arsenal will die for Isak. Will the deal happen? Probably not. But Arsenal will die for Alexander Isak. So let me know what you think about Mikel Arteta's transfer wish list of strikers. We've talked about Hugo Ekitike. We've talked about Mbeumo, Lautaro Martinez, Mario Retegui, Benjamin Šeško, Joao Pedro, and Alexander Isak. If I was to choose two, My pair would be Isak and Mbeumo. I would go with Isak and Mbeumo, right? But if I was to choose the realistic ones, I would choose Joao Pedro. I think Joao Pedro is very, very attainable as a player, and he can also play on any flank, so he's very, very versatile. So I'll go with Joao Pedro. I don't trust Hugo Ekitike, right? So I'll go with Joao Pedro and Brian Mbeumo. I think you could get Brian Mbeumo from Brentford. He's more like the Sadio Mane kind of guy. The way Southampton had Sadio Mane, they were always going to sell. So I think Brentford, if you got in with good money, like £50 million from Brian Mbeumo, they will ask for more, but you can get the deal done. See you soon.